What's good, everybody? Hello. Joey J. Ping checking in live, respectmyregion.com. Here today on another episode of the RMR Podcast here on the Respect My Region Podcast Network. Our episode today brought to you guys by Extract Consultants. I've got a very special guest today, folks. We've got Todd Harris, co-founder, chief commercial officer over at Plift. You guys might have heard or tasted these beverages before. They are a lower dose hemp beverage. At least on the website right now, I just saw 3 of them on there. They got grapefruit, this ginger one, and this tart lime. I had tried it a couple years ago, Todd, and I was just saying, like, I was a fan, and you were saying they've only gotten better, and so I'm excited to explore that here with you today. Welcome to the show, and I believe it's good afternoon for you. You're over there in Kansas City, Illinois area, no?
Yeah, not quite afternoon yet. We're about 20 minutes out. Yeah, 20 minutes out. So it's late morning. So top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you from the Midwest and LA, my man. How we doing? How's Plift? How's life for you?
I mean, Plift is great. Any day we wake up any day we wake up is a great day. So we're going to start there. Business is going great, growing at a rate that's, pretty astonishing for us.
Mm-hmm.
As I did mention to you offline, we have been tweaking flavors. We've rolled out new products. So we've got, a gang of new products that are hitting the market, and just, continuously trying to meet consumer demand where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got our low potency beverages, our 4 and our 10 milligrams that you've tried. We've got 25 and 50 milligrams via our Rocket Fuel line.
These new Rocket Fuel products. There is some new. This is exciting. I love it.
Yeah.
And the little shots over here on the right.
Yes, we got Plift Minis, which 10 milligrams in a 2-ounce shot, and then Plift Select, which is not even on the site yet. It's just rolling out. It'll be a 750 milliliter large format alcohol or spirit replacement bottle product.
Wow.
So we have been busy, to say the least.
I love that for you guys, man. For me, it's exciting and inspiring to watch you guys continue to grow and expand and innovate. I think that's one of the most exciting areas of the hemp space, of the cannabis industry as a whole, is just innovation, right? And you guys are obviously continuing to do that through your different formats. Now, let's take it back before we get too deep into the products and the flavors and all the fun nerdy stuff that I like. Let's keep it a little bit of brand, and let's talk a little bit about you, Todd. You're a co-founder. You're the chief commercial leader over there. Why Plift? I struggled with saying it at first, and we have to ask, but that name, where does that come from? Where was that inspo derived from?
Yeah, well, so my background's in brand and cultural strategy. I've done, sales, marketing, strategic digital roles in the past. And so, that's kind of my background. But, the name Plift is intentionally 1 letter short of the word uplift, because all that's missing is you. And when we talk about you, we're talking about the collective you, the can of curious, you like yourself, Joey, the can of pro.
Like we the people, but we're talking about you, the people.
Yeah, right. And we want to meet you where you are with your journey with cannabis consumption, right?
Like that.
It's pretty obvious that people's consumption around alcohol has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Social drinking and what social drinking looks like has changed.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to build a product that was flavor forward, that tasted great, but met every consumer where they were in their journey. Myself, I'm an alcoholic in recovery. So I've been, sober from alcohol now, coming up on 2 years next week. Right. But I wanted people like myself to have another alternative to socialize with. But I also wanted people who maybe had a bad experience with cannabis in the past to be able to come back to the plant and say, well, look, maybe this is a better vehicle for me to try. Right. And so that was the impotence around the name. It was all about you, meeting you where you are with your relationship with cannabis.
It doesn't even have to be better, just has to be another positive option. Uplift. Right. Another positive word, another positive brand. And
100%.
If we're so blessed, an incredible product, right? And
100%.
I saw one of them, the OG one, award winning, right?
Yeah. We won some awards for our flavors. And I get probably 20 emails a week around, I love your product. I can't find your product. Your product is sold out. Ginger is my favorite. Grapefruit's my favorite. And it's wild because when we created the liquid and we created the products, like we as founders all had our favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And what the world is picked as their favorite and what regions and what cities pick as their favorite is pretty astonishing. So like I'm a tart lime all day. I'm a juicy grapefruit number 2. My co-founder Andrea, she's the tart lime, juicy grapefruit, crisp ginger. Glenn is actually grapefruit, lime, ginger. So like
you guys got you got your own top 3s, each of you guys.
Yeah, but like my mom, for instance, 79 next week, she's a 4 milligram crisp ginger to the dirt. Like that's her ride or die. And like it's just crazy to see like everyone picks their own flavor. You know, we've got a 0 cal product called Plift Plus 0, 10 milligrams, 0 cal, 0 sugar, 0 artificial sweeteners. Yeah, it's not even on the site yet because every time we get a production run done, it sells out. So but everyone's picking their favorite.
You just throw it on the Instagram and it goes, or is that through
our wholesalers? Our distributors pick it up, and it doesn't even make it to the website because the distribution picks it up, and it's out into the streets and the cities that it's sold right now.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
That's awesome. Okay, so my first question, because your mom's hyped on this ginger, I kept hearing ginger, and then I hear this word crisp, and I'm from Washington. We love our apples, right? We love our Washington apples, our crisp apple cider. Shout out Treetop, OGs. Now, is it spicy or what's the level?
So it's
ginger.
It's like it's a very fresh, forward ginger, but not overly spicy, right? And like ginger is a very, very polarizing flavor, right? So is grapefruit, frankly. And so like I'm a spicy ginger. Like
grapefruit's the most tart.
Yeah. Like and like ginger is, you know, intentionally not overly spicy so that people who are not even big ginger, like I'm a spicy ginger guy. So if it was spicier, I'd be great. But we know that the majority of people, they're not going to, you know, gravitate towards that overly spicy, pungent in your face ginger. So like we wanted to go easy ginger. We modeled the flavors off of a Moscow Mule. So most people who drink it get a little hint of lime to finish, and that's intentional. Like
it's a very rounded mouth experience in that way.
Right. And like, it's crazy because that product won the 2024, Shelfie Award from Startup CPG, which was voted that was the best THC/CBD drink in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that, man. That's so
cool. Man. I appreciate it. And it's crazy because we were talking about this past weekend, and it's like ginger is not the number one seller, but it is consistently like 2 or 3, like across all SKUs, right? Yeah. Our number one sellers are lime 10 milligram, ginger 10 milligrams second. You know what I mean? And our ginger.
There's a reason why that soda company, that Fever Tree, there's a reason why they've expanded their flavors of ginger beer, because it's very clear that people want it in their regular alcohol culture. But then they also liked recreating the flavor profiles in it could be in their craft soda life, it could be in their mocktail life, in their NA life, whatever it is. And I think that's fantastic. And that's been able to find a lane similarly for you guys as well. I can't wait to try that one again and with your guys' new formulations and things like that. It's been years. It's been years, Todd. And we've never even connected. I feel like I got it down here. I want to say I got it in California, but I don't know. And that leads me to these questions, Todd. Break me down and help me bring some clarity to the journey of Plift. How long ago did you guys start it? What was it like, before you guys landed your first distro deal? And what's it been like since then for you guys?
So we started the company.
It's like getting a record deal, Todd.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. So we incorporated the company in October of 2021. Okay. We noodled on ideation and what did we want to actually do as a company and as a product. My background in brand culture strategy, I had a lot of deep relationships in the beverage space, both beverage, alcohol, and what I'll call soft drink or NA. And so Glenn and I looked at each other and we kind of said, look, the socialization of cannabis consumption is coming. I see you smoking a bone right now, which I love, but unless you're deep in cannabis culture, smoking a bone, ripping a vape is not inherently a social activity, right? And then, of course, taking a gummy is not social at all. So we're like, let us figure out how can we create really good products that help people socialize, because this motion is, the blueprint for socialization around the world, right? You see people drinking beers in Germany the same the way they do in Japan, the same way they do in Australia, the same way they do in Chicago. And so
Yeah.
we're like, can we create something that fills that void for people, but allows them to just, treat themselves better, we like to say. So we went to work on building out formulation, and building out the brand. Our first initial brand was actually called Happy Hour by Noble Brands Inc. So like our parent company, Noble Brands Inc. But we decided that we didn't want to lean so heavily into just alcohol culture. And so we decided to rebrand into Plift. And I kind of gave you the backstory on that.
But with
because we wanted to meet people where they were, right? Like we wanted them to consider Plift for, their barbecue instead of grabbing a 6-pack or a 4-pack of whatever alcohol they would drink. Consider us for a barbecue, consider us for family game night, consider us for the concert or whatever. And so, we wanted to make it not about just the drinking occasion. And happy hour, when you hear that, you think of a drinking occasion.
Happy hour was established for drinking. Come on.
6 p.m. to 8 p.m. or whatever the happy hour is. And we didn't want that. And so we just wanted a better for you beverage that could be consumed anytime with flavors that were super approachable.
I thought Plift was a spliff on spliff.
Yeah, we get that a lot though. And
on spliff.
It's not that it's not. Right? Like it's not that it's not, but that's not like the intent was not
into.
that.
That's what it's
correct.
Grown into.
100%. 100%.
Plift. Like, yo, pass me the split. Like to me, it was just like, oh, you
tomato tomato. Tomato tomato, brother.
That perfectly there, Todd. That was a great one. You know what I mean?
Tomato tomato there, man. So we started to go down that path, building this beverage company. And then, when we looked at trying to get into the licensed marijuana space, right? So we had co-packing in Colorado. We were going to launch in that market. But as we kept trying to, run the financials on the business, Joey, like we heard like, we can't just make this math don't math.
Yeah.
And, we would have had to have been a demonstrably bigger business than we are, like a $60 million in sales business to turn profitability given the constraints of the licensed market.
Wow.
And we were like, you know what? That's not for us. Beyond that, we've all heard around social equity in the licensed cannabis market. This shit doesn't exist. And so, we went and we talked to some of the biggest names in that game about investing in Plift. And they're like, come back when you have sales. I'm like, well, we can't get sales because you guys own the retail channel too, man. Like unless you give us a shelf, we're not going to have sales. And so we just decided like, look, that industry is inherently inequitable, on purpose, in my opinion. And so we looked at each other and said, yo, let's go do this thing with hemp-derived THC.
Yeah.
Delta 9 from hemp and Delta 9 from marijuana is the exact same chemical compound. Delta 9 from hemp, it grows in naturally occurring in the plant. Right. So we were like, let's go this route. And as part of our mission, let's make sure that our product is as accessible as it possibly can be. So we look at it as like go to market is premium look, premium taste, value priced. Like I want to be sold in every corner store and every bodega, because the reality of it is, Joey, that in the license market, they go in, social equity applicants seldom get a license. They don't know what to do with it when they do get one. But the dispensary that pops up in the neighborhood, most people in those neighborhoods can't afford what's inside. So I said, let's make sure that our drink can go into their corner store, their liquor store, and it's at a price point that they can choose whether or not they're drinking, Bud Light, Busch Light, Mick Ultra, whatever they're drinking, or Plift.
I love the focus on switching to the hemp space because although I will disagree on a number of points, I'd say that overwhelmingly 60 to 80% of what you're saying is exacerbatingly true. Like quite freaking, and it's not like the stuff that I'm saying or that I disagree with is so much more important. Like the key points that you're right on are the dominant expensive points. Like you need money. Yet the connections and the relationship of who owns the retails in cannabis, it's limited. And when you think about the size of the cannabis space, licensed, legal, compared to the hemp world and what you guys have access to, it's like 1 million stores compared to like having access to like 10,000.
Well, and that's just it though, is like the license, when you have limited licenses, that's inherently an inequitable approach, right? Because you're licensing for some, but some people don't have the access to get in. Whereas like what we're doing in the hemp markets is the free market approach. Like the consumer should be able to decide the winners and losers, but we shouldn't regulate potential winners out, but also, keep potential losers in just because they've won a license and that's the only way. And again, like I think we should be freeing the plant. Like the fact that we're still having this conversation is a wild
Shoot, I
conversation.
don't disagree at all on the equitable part. I don't. That's not even the point. I just know that more often and more times it's just a money thing and who in this world of the license thing, and having seen people go from 0 to 200-300 in that social equity space, I'm just thinking about those anomalies. But like I said, that's not enough to justify an inaccuracy, right? Like, or to claim that in any means. I think it's exciting to see what you guys have grown and the opportunity there. Personally, I just think it was a smarter pivot to go that direction. I think ultimately that's the great part of it is now you got Targets and Bevmos and Food and Total Food and Wines and all the smoke shops and all the bodegas and corner stores, right? And we had some major news recently with Target in Minnesota bringing on some cool brands, and big congrats to those brands. But Todd, for you guys, where can we get your guys' product? Where are some of the top places and regions where someone can get a Plift? Because for me, I live in Cali. I would love to go get a case somewhere, or on one of my next trips, I'm going is to Alabama, for example, and Houston as well. So I would love to
Okay.
be able to go get some products in some places.
Okay. So unfortunately, Governor Newsom has put together some anti-hemp bills and anti-hemp legislation in California, which has made it hard for brands like Plift to be readily sold and readily available throughout the state. So unfortunately,
No in
we're not.
Cali as of right now, correct?
Yeah, no in Cali right now. For us, I mean, I know there are some other operators that are skirting around the regulatory guidance. That's just not who we are. That's just not what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But we're sold, throughout 17 states. We'll be in, 20-ish states by the end of the year. In Texas, we have a great relationship with Total Wine. So we're sold in, I think, 132 or 157. I can't remember the exact number of Total Wines throughout the country. We're sold, throughout Specs in Texas. So 200-ish stores in Texas. We're working on some large regional grocery deals throughout the Midwest, throughout the Southeast, and then your neighborhood packaged liquor. So like states that you can find us in pretty readily available: Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri. Will soon be online in Oklahoma and Nebraska. Texas, I mentioned, Illinois, Wisconsin. Ohio's had some stuff pop up in the last couple weeks where Governor DeWine has put an emergency ban on these products until they can get them regulated. So Ohio's kind of wait and see. You can get us in North Carolina, Georgia, Florida via Total Wine and ABC
Now,
Wine and
all these
Spirits.
things because you're the chief commercial officer. This is your role to know which markets and partners. That's why you're bossing through this at such a high level real quick.
Yeah, I mean, look, I own New Jersey. I own sales, marketing, and brand. So everything external facing for the company is my responsibility, including distribution agreements, retail partnerships, etc. So if it's happening, if you can find a Plift there, chances are I either put my thumbprint on it or someone on our team did.
Now, I'm going to pull up your guys' website real quick. Will you walk me through just real quick what we're looking at?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's the bottom of the site, so give me a second to pull it up. There we go. All right. So up here, those are the three that you were talking about in terms of the 4 milligram ones, the tart line.
Yeah, those are hero SKUs.
Yep.
Those are the OGs right there.
Beautiful. I love it. I love the color on that. Sick. And then one of the things I really like about your guys' brand is the imagery.
Oh, thanks. We're actually working on an updated product and photo shoot right now for a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I appreciate it.
And I like the moving, like when I'm going through your site, I like the things that are moving. I know it's like all part of it, but like I like that you guys went with fruit. It just screams like the flavor forward elements to it. And this wave is fire. It's tripping me
thanks, bro.
All right. And then this is the cans. And then this is the rocket fuel, the 25 milligram you were talking about. Break down this one right here. It says gamma grapefruit. Is this just a higher dose, or what are there other differences?
Yeah, so we wanted to create a product. There's obviously a higher potency consumer market out there, and we wanted to create a product that appealed specifically to them. And so my background is in, like I mentioned, is in brand. And so, we chose, like, when we hear like, take me to the moon, I'm lifting off or whatever it is around someone's experience around getting high, we wanted to play in that. So rocket fuel became that vehicle, that vessel for that brand to say like, you jump it on this rocket ship with us and we're taking you there. And so Gamma Grapefruit is just a higher potency of our traditional grapefruit flavor. We have started to launch, offshoot flavors into that rocket fuel line. So we've got a SKU in our 50 milligram called Planetary Punch. So we've got Planetary Punch, we've got Lunar Lime, Gamma Grapefruit, and Galactic Ginger currently.
Okay. You see, when I first looked at this for a second there, I was like, this is on the Halloween vibes. This is October. Anything goes right here. I love it.
Yeah.
This is
sick. Yeah. So if you click on that and you go into the site, you'll see the other offerings that we have there.
Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah. Look at that. That Galactic Ginger, that Lunar Lime can is fire.
Thanks, bro.
And then the 50 milligram options. There we go. And then that Planetary Punch again. Okay, yeah. And the 4-pack's $50.
Yeah, but anyone who jumps on from your guys' site, if they use Plift 25 at checkout, I'll give them 25% off their order.
Plift 25, folks.
Yep, Plift 25 at checkout.
Oh, let's go. That's at least $6-7, folks. Be sure to take advantage of that. Man, this is awesome. I didn't know that we had these new products until recently. I didn't have time to click through and see these 50 milligram ones before. So this is definitely, one of the things, Todd, that people talk about and complain about with the hemp beverages is that they're just not potent enough. And then we see delicious looking beverages and well-branded beverages like your guys', and I can co-sign the taste from back in the day. Now that we know that in your guys' opinion, they've improved. This is going to be very exciting. Todd, what is the one thing you want people to know about your guys' brand? If there were some retailers out there or buyers out there, regional, whatever, commercial people, or just a general customer, what do you feel has been the most important thing or element to your guys' products in terms of why people like it and I think why people come back to keep buying it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think when it comes down to it, there's a couple of things. One is which is authenticity, like why we're doing this, right? Like, we're building this company so that people like myself who have struggled with alcoholism have an alternative to socialize, right? People don't necessarily love the way alcohol tastes. They love the way it makes them feel. Yeah, well, it makes you sick, right? But they want to feel something. So we wanted to give people that want to feel something. I say that to say we're not anti-alcohol. We're pro-choice. We want people to choose and have choices and have optionality in how they socialize and how they manage their life, right? Like, that's number one. But why do people keep coming back? We went on flavor, man. Like, we taste, and this is no offense to anybody else in the industry, because I say this to everybody. Getting an idea from your head into a can is extremely difficult. It's extremely expensive. So I applaud anyone who's realized that and their products being sold and sipped in the world. Like, kudos to them. But at the end of the day, our shit just tastes better, man. And so, when it tastes great and it's priced appropriately so that people from all walks of life can afford, like, the last thing I want is for someone to not be able to try to drink a Plift because they can't afford it, right? And so our mission is to keep going down to be the most value option in the category, not because we don't think there's a room for premium options. It's just that I want consumers who look like me, who grew up in places like me, to be able to go find drinks like mine. And so like that, our price point draws them in, our liquid keeps them coming back.
Price point draws them in, flavor, aka the liquid inside, brings it back, man. I love it. There's got to be a craveable element to it, right? Like, for me, I think about, oh man, you know what? Like, this is some real shit. I literally associate like a nice day and like a refreshing meal with sandwich, chips, and an ice cold drink. And
right, like a soda.
And particularly like a soda, like a Sprite.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Sure.
Like,
for sure.
or a Capri Sun if I'm like on my kid shit. You know what I mean? Like if I'm
Yeah, for sure, dog. I
you
hear
know.
you loud and clear. I hear you
And not,
loud and clear.
you think about going back to like what makes each of those elements craveable. Well, we know the sandwich has got to have crunchy lettuce and the cheese and the meat and be booming. And then you got the crunch of the chips and it's got to be Doritos, one of the two, obviously. And then I think about the beverage part of it, right? It's the flavor of that Sprite. It's the flavor of that Capri Sun, specifically Pacific Cooler, right? The legendary.
Yeah,
So you think about like what about that ginger? What about your guys' grapefruit? What about your tart lime really makes it
yeah,
believable? To me, there's this layer I remember drinking it on the old can. There was this layer of depth. You heard me describe it, right? I said, "Oh, it reminds me of the Sprite element," right? Now,
yeah.
I liked flat Sprite, and so for me, I liked just an element of the lemon, the lime, this, that, and it brought me back to like, wow, this is really close to like when I have it like that.
Yep.
How do you describe the beverages today in terms of carbonation? Oh, this
Yeah.
flavor popping
Perfect.
like this.
Yeah, no. So there's a world in beverage alcohol, as specifically in beer, called sessionability,
Okay.
right? And sessionability means how many can someone drink of something, right? Is it a sessionable beverage? Can you have multiple, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so you called out like the quote unquote flat Sprite. Like we're, I would call us, or I would frame our core SKUs as like sparkling sodas, right?
Okay.
Definitely carbonated, but not as carbonated as a traditional Sprite, because that level of
Mm.
carbonation causes bloat, and that makes it so you can't have multiple,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, that makes so much more sense.
Right. So it's
Okay.
definitely carbonated so that you know that you're getting something with some bubbles, but the bubbles are not going to be those big, robust bubbles that make you really full. Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you think about our flavors, our tart lime is inspired by the classic margarita. So you're going to get like a really
Ooh.
nice lime flavor, not overly tart, actually. Like tart is a descriptive word that allows the consumer's mind to start to think about what to expect.
Yeah.
But it's not, the flavors are not actually overly tart. And then with that, most people get a hint of, you will not get it, but it's been set up to like feel like you're getting a hint of salt at the end, and it's just
Mm.
for mouthfeel, right?
Yeah, there's a
And
little
so
dryness to it, right?
yeah, so like that's that flavor profile for crisp ginger, modeled after the classic Moscow Mule,
Mhm.
right?
You said that.
Ginger
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
ginger not overly spicy, hint of lime to finish, just so that you get that citrus pop at the end. Very sessionable. And then grapefruit, juicy grapefruit, is actually we get it's in comparison to Fresca a lot,
Ooh, which
and
is everyone's most favorite addictive grapefruit flavor, right? That's out there.
right. And
Ooh.
so how we played that up is because grapefruit inherently is very acidic, and it's got that, acidic bite that's frankly off-putting to a lot of people. We didn't want people's experience with the flavor to be that. So what you get from us is like a big ruby red nose, right? So when you open the can, you
Mm.
get that grapefruit essence, but then you get a soft, sweet palate. So you're not going to get that acidic, harsh bite of grapefruit, that rind like
Yeah.
flavor that you get.
It's that warhead mouth cramping
Yeah.
grapefruit acidity, right?
Yeah, you're not going to get that like that bitterness from us. You're going to get the big nose to know that you're getting grapefruit though.
Interesting. It's crazy how we can use like a grapefruit zest versus like the acidity from the inside of a grapefruit, and that can be different varying levels of the flavor, right?
Well, and it's but yeah, for sure. And like what you see in this category, Joey, is like you're seeing brands and liquid pop up all over. I mean, every
Yeah.
day there's a new brand entering the market. The challenge is like it's not just about getting liquid in can. Like that novelty will wear off,
Yeah.
right? You have to have good liquid in the can, and it has to deliver on a promise to a consumer, right? And like that's the part that a lot of these products have not figured out yet, is how do we pull the thread from the novelty of the category into a long lasting, commercial strategy, one that we're doing very, very well. And like that's why we're seeing our business grow at the rate that it's growing, in spite of the fact that there are, hundreds, if not thousands, of competitors in the set now.
Yeah. Hey man, everybody, I hope you guys enjoy the game that he just gave. And for the brands or businesses watching on LinkedIn, I mean, he just shared a really great perspective there as well. And so, certain things to really circle back and listen and focus on, whether it be about your business or your products things like sessionability. I mean, I'm sure the people in your space already know those things, but do they really, really, really make sure that's a home run every single day, every time,
I
right?
don't know, man. I tell you what, I see a lot of people throwing products into the market that consumers didn't ask for. And like we start every single brand, every single product that we put out with a level of consumer focus. Like, what have consumers asked us about it? If they've asked about it, what do they want from this product? Have our retail partners asked us about it? If they've asked about it, what do they want in the product? And that is what informs our strategy. And that's why for the last two plus years, we hadn't launched any new products or any new markets. And now we're launching new products and new markets because consumers and retail partners asked us for it.
Yeah, you get that consistent footprint. If your company is committed to data driven, intelligent, consistent business based decisions and not a compilation of biased, emotionally driven decisions and random consumer feedback, I think the direction you guys are going would definitely make sense to have built the consistent foundation. Bam, 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 rinse, repeat, optimize, improve, perfect. And then, all right, let's go explode. Let's go
Yeah,
boom in other places, right?
that's exactly it, man. Like, take the advisement of the people who actually consume your product and remove your own personal bias, and which is much harder to do, and it's super easy to say, but the businesses and the brands in this space and frankly beyond that are winning and succeeding are able to do that at a level and of granularity that's superior to their competitive set.
Huge, man. Plift, uplifting us all. One here today with via Todd with the business in the game and his perspective here and his expertise, and two, just setting the example. Uh,
Yeah,
as somebody who really appreciates the intentionality behind making good products, I'm a patient. I have a medical card. I'm going to go to Texas. I'll be in Alabama. I go to these states that you mentioned, and I'm going to buy these products as a regular consumer. I'm going to go to my hotel and I'm going to down them. And then I'm going to go somewhere outside with it and walk around because everybody else gets to do that. And so I
yep.
can't wait to do that, to be normal in our own way with a beverage such as yours. And it's very exciting. And congratulations again on your guys' growth and success. It is very cool and very inspiring to see these different retailers you mentioned carry your guys' brand and products across so many locations, having impact on so many people potentially, because that's what it was all about, right?
So it's what it's all about, man. We're not building this for us, we're building this for everybody else, man.
I appreciate that. Todd, thank you again so much for your time. Let me shout out the sponsor real quick. We'll get you out of here. Everybody, this episode is brought to you guys by Extract Consultants, our premier partner for all things flavor, terpenes, formulations, R&D. If you guys want to make something, this is who we work with and who empowered us to have this level of conversation and with the guests that we have. And so we appreciate them for that support. If you guys would like to go support Todd and their company, the website is plift.com. You can search and click around. They've got a shop button. They've got other products, and they also have a find Plift locator, so you guys can check out where they're at. Big shout out to you guys, and Todd, thank you again so much for your time, brother.
And don't forget Plift 25 at checkout.
Let them know. Plift 25 at checkout. Save some money. Order more. Get a second box in there. Get a second case in there. That's what I would do.
Always.
We appreciate y'all. Todd, do you have anything you want to leave the people with?
No, man, just live your best life and be kind, man. It's a hard world out there. You never know what the person standing next to you is going through, and so be kind.
Words to live by. Appreciate you, Todd.